As a typical Midwestern boy, Owen Wilinski grew up in Lancaster, Wisconsin, and from day one he knew he wanted to be a successful football player. Because of his father playing Canadian football, he got Owen into football from a very young age, and that eventually led to Owen becoming the starting quarterback for his high school team, and by the end of his junior year, he managed to become a 2-star prospect. But he had his sights on much more than a walk-on in D1 or even D2, so now in his senior season, Owen needs to lock the in if he wants to fulfill his lifetime dream of playing for the University of Wisconsin. But either way, he still needs to be considerate of his opportunities in other states. So keeping in mind his need to be at least a day's worth of driving away from his family, his hope to be coached well enough to get a chance at the pro level, and of course, his drive to win. So at the start of the season, Owen came up with his top 15 schools and was ready for the most important year of his life up to this point. And here we are. I'm starting off College Football 26 with a high school to NFL road to glory with this man right here, Owen Wilinski, from the great city of Lancaster, Wisconsin, and I am very excited to finally play this game, so let's get right into it. And firstly, in the preseason, of course, the reporter asked all the questions, but you already saw that. And my coach has been telling me about, the recruiting system and all of that, and it's very, very useful, so, I'm going to be polite. I'm pretty much going to give a polite answer every single time I can. I'm from Wisconsin, it's that Midwest nice. But now we are preparing for game 1, and of course we're playing Hudson, who has one of the highest rated edge rushers in the state. So I'm going to have to do everything that I can to just stay away from him and just do well for myself. Now, of course, one thing that a lot of people, I think, have different opinions on is obviously not playing all of high school yet, which I think is totally fine. I'm totally fine with this for like a year, but we choose the specific moments, and I'm more of just doing the ones. I'm not specifically looking for the teams that I want to go to and do those goals. I'm just doing the ones that I think would be the most fun and mainly trying to win. Like, I'm just trying to get a touchdown on every drive. That is the main goal, and then also to complete the challenges as well. But here we go. I absolutely love this walkout as we jog onto the field for week 1 of the high school season in 2025. And also, if you didn't know, we are the Lancaster Woodchucks. It's a team builder thing. It's on Team Builder if you want to use it, so that's cool. And of course, first drive is just stay chill, get things started off on the right foot, avoid our rival, do not want, because he's really good, he'll force us to fumble, he'll do all sorts of stuff, but my very first high school play of my senior season is just a run up the middle, and we get 8 yards from the running back. But as you can see, I was trying to do a little bit of QB options, because I did pick dual threat, because I just think that would be most fun to mainly be able to pass, but then also be able to run a little bit, and obviously the main goal right now is to run for 5+ yards on a QB option. And then a few minutes later, after driving down the field, I roll out to the left and deliver an absolute dime, and the receiver does the rest of the work to get my first touchdown of my senior season. And now into the second quarter, we were able to get a field goal, but not much else, and then Hudson was able to get a touchdown, so we need points right now to keep them at a manageable distance. And we do exactly that as we drive down the field, and then on a nice little drag route across the field on 2nd and goal, I deliver, and we end up getting the touchdown to take a 2-score lead over Hudson. But now right out of halftime, they tie it up at 17, so we have some work to do. But unfortunately, after a not very productive first few plays, we end up in a 4th and inches situation. So I do a little bit of an option, and the second I saw their defense, I knew I had to hand it off. Number 26 takes it nearly the distance. He took it a very far way, and now we are into the red zone. And a couple plays later, we find ourselves on 1st and goal on the 5, and I just wait for things to develop, find my lane, and I run in for the touchdown to take the lead right on back. But then we simulate for a while as it's now late in the 4th quarter. We're down by 6, and we need a touchdown if we want to win this game. But unfortunately, this team is a little jittery as, of course, a whole year without football in high school. We have a lot of other things to think about. We've been nervous, and we just kind of fell apart as we found ourselves in 4th and 10 with a minute remaining. And honestly, at first I thought we completed the ball, but then I saw a first down, and I knew we completed the ball. And then I realized that we did not have possession, and we ended up losing to Hudson 30-24. Not a great start. But I guess the upside is that we do get a couple of scholarship offers from some admittedly terrible teams, except for, I guess, Rice is fine. But we got some offers now. So now into week 2, we have to play a team that just put up 7 sacks So this is gonna be a rough one. But then during the school week, my boy Lane comes over and he asks if I wanted to study for college entrance exams, and I mean, mine as well. My big goal is to obviously go to UW, and they really liked that because they're an academic school, so we take that. But then the head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers gives me a nice little text, basically saying that they will be very impressed if I do a specific thing this next week, and I'm all for that. Minnesota, one of my top teams, and once again we get a home game. One day I do want to see like different stadiums for high school. I don't know if they had that in like the 2014 games or whatever, but it would be very nice to be able to switch uniforms and all that stuff. But again, this is the first year, so it's still pretty good. But let's get into this Appleton game. And immediately we're down 7-0 just a couple minutes into this game. But then on a 3rd and 18, I just have to throw up something, and I get completely smashed and it falls incomplete. So we do have to punt on our first drive, but no need to worry, as within the next quarter, we managed to get up 3 with somehow a touchdown and a field goal. And so, of course, with Minnesota's goal of throwing a lob pass for a touchdown, that is all I'm doing this drive. And it works sometimes, but eventually I found myself in a 3rd and long, and I just kind of have to throw it up. And unfortunately, it is nearly picked off, so we only get a field goal, but not a great look for Minnesota, but hey, they only get a field goal, so we're still winning this football game. But then the next drive, I still have the idea of lob passes in my head, and we are backed up, so I just chuck it down there in basically double coverage. My boy number 15 comes up with the ball, and we have a drive going. But then unfortunately, after a sack and a couple incompletions, we cannot get anything out of it. But we're still in the lead in the 4th quarter, 16-13 after 2 more field goals. So now with only 3 minutes left, we have to try to put this game away. And we're set up in a 3rd and 6 position. So I do the jet pass, and it fails miserably. And presumably we don't end up winning, but I mean, I guess who knows, our defense was playing pretty well. But we'll just say that we'll lose, and now we're 0-2. But either way, I am slowly making my way up the ranks of the stars. Still more offers, and I'll take it. And of course, Minnesota does have to decline me, and it'll be much harder to get a scholarship from them, but it's fine. And then it is homecoming week, and I debated this heavily because I was struggling majorly. But I mean, it's still senior year. You kind of have to go. So I ended up asking my classmate, and I don't know if I just chose the wrong thing or I just did flowers and a sign, and she denied me. So, I mean, I went with the boys, so I still had a pretty good time, but that's not great. Kind of got heartbroken. But either way, you just have to move forward, and potentially that whole situation with being denied at homecoming may have been really important for me. As now my mindset was fully on football for week 3, and I knew that this was super, super important to prove that all of the schools that I have on my board should recruit me. I mean, Coach told me that our opponent, Whitefish Bay, runs a whole lot of man coverage. I was excited because we got some deep threats, we got some route runners, and I knew I was going to have a big opportunity to completely change where my life is headed. And then after doing a little bit of shifting on my recruiting board, it was time. Homecoming week. And I am here to not only prove all of the schools wrong, the star system wrong, that I'm only a 2-star, and of course, that one goddamn girl that denied me. So let's get into it. And I'm gonna be honest, this game started out hot, as on the first drive, I was juking, I was running, I was throwing dimes, and we ended with a beautiful drag route touchdown to take the lead 7-0. But then by the 2nd quarter, they had tied it up. So once again, needing a touchdown on 4th and 2, deep in our own territory, Coach trusts me with the play call and to go for it on 4th down. And my receiver comes up big, and we keep the drive moving. And as you can see, I'm on fire, so I felt confident, and I lobbed it up to my deep threat on the right side. They were playing man. I could see the safety wasn't going to be able to get over there, so I threw it up, and he came down with the head tap to retake the lead. But once again, they are toe-to-toe with us. 14-14 early in the 3rd, and after finding ourselves in 3rd and 17, we did have a rare mistake this game as I tried to scramble for the 3rd and 17, and it did not go well. But either way, either our defense or at some point our offense made up for it as we take the lead 21-14 with 1:20 left and a chance to seal this game. And in the red zone, after quite a few plays, 3rd and goal, I just decide to take it myself, and I run through the middle, and we end up getting our first dub of the season, at least at home. Yeah, but it was a massive game. I got 850 game tape score, absolutely massive. I got offers from Rutgers, UConn, and of course a couple that are on my board, Central Michigan, Purdue, and Western Michigan. And then early next week, I got a couple more from Arkansas State, Buffalo, and Wake Forest. And then Iowa State's head coach, Matt Campbell, texted me, and he said that he wanted to see something special from me this week. And this was massive. This was one of my top teams from the very beginning. I would be thrilled to go to Iowa State. It's close. It's a great school. I feel like I can make it a winner. So this quickly became another very, very important week for me against Manitowoc. And so after they drove down the field and got a field goal to start out the game, 0-3 with the perfect opportunity for us to start off this game hot. And we did, as after a couple of not great plays, it was 3rd and 10, deep in our own territory, and I anticipate the corner route, and my receiver ends up going all the way for the touchdown. I didn't complete any of my goals that drive, but it wasn't the Iowa State one, and we got a touchdown, so I could not care less. But now this is the drive that we need, as all I need to do to make Iowa State happy is to throw a touchdown pass. And now deep in our own territory, I make a couple dimes work, and by the end of all of it, I throw it to the drag right across the middle, and he dives in for the touchdown, absolutely big. But now in the third quarter, Manitowoc completely came back. They now have the lead by 7, and this is going to be a great game. I'm now on fire. I'm confident as ever, so let's go get that lead. Now, once again, we consistently found ourselves in tough spots, 3rd and 13 here, and my guy is just not able to get it. Ends up being 4th and 4, and coach doesn't have that much trust, so we just have to move on. And then finally, in the 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, we're down by 3, 34-31, and on 3rd and 1, I see that they're pressed. I know that we have some absolute deep threats, and it's not even a competition. My guy blows past him. I just need to put the ball right in his breadbasket, and I do just that. And we end up winning the game 38-34 over Manitowoc. And I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the 3 stars. Unfortunately, I only have one more week, so I'm going to have to make the most of it. But I did get some offers from pretty big programs, including the big one, Iowa State. But then not long after, this is pretty crazy, Wisconsin, my dream school, the state I've grown up in my whole life, or I guess Owen has. I don't know why I keep saying, I guess I'm playing Owen, but it's, the state Owen has grown up. I also have lived in Wisconsin my whole life. Anyway, the state Owen and I have lived in our whole lives, and our favorite school has finally offered Owen a scholarship, by far the biggest week in Owen's life. But now with us pretty far away from 3 stars still, the main goal is just to get out of 2 stars and become a 3-star prospect, to maybe just to really just look better. I didn't want to be 2 stars this whole time. But first, Iowa State did confirm to me that, well, I'm getting a big scholarship deal, which is incredible. And then, of course, my coach, congratulating me, being all sentimental. It's senior night, final game of my career. So let's just make it a good one. As we are playing Union Grove in Lancaster, and of course, bringing out the flowers. No parents. They gotta add parents in, honestly. That would be a fun one. But still, should be a very, very fun one to finish out my high school career and to hopefully get up to 3 stars by the end of the season. And immediately, we are stuffed deep into our own territory, but I simply take it as a challenge, and I am running all over the field. I eventually run for a touchdown after running for like a ton of yards. I think 25 yards. Scrambling was what I was supposed to get. I just got the 20-yard pass that I got, and then I just ran for the rest of it. And we start out 7-0 over Union Grove. But now late in the second quarter, we still have a 7-point lead, but it is now 14-7. As we immediately find ourselves into a 3rd and 5, which I do throw a pretty good pass for, but he just gets stopped at 4th and 2. And coach puts all of his trust into me, and I end up going for the deep ball as I saw press on both sides, and number 3 ended up beating his man, and I throw the long bomb for the touchdown to go up by 2 scores. But now out of nowhere, Union Grove has come back as they get 17 points to go up 3 on us. But once again, deep in our own territory, we have to make a long drive happen. And after making it to midfield at least, we get stuck at a 3rd and 14, and I try to throw it deep, but it didn't end up working out, as they get either 2 touchdowns or a missed PAT after a field goal. But either way, it's 24-30 against Union Grove, 55 seconds remaining. This is for the final win of my high school career, and I make some absolute, on the sideline rolling out, over the middle. I'm running all over the place. And finally, on 1st and goal, I take the snap with 20 seconds left. I run around for a little bit, don't see anybody really that open, so I take it myself, and we end up beating Union Grove on the walk-off, game-winning touchdown to finish out my high school career. And then right after the game, I get a whole bunch of big offers from schools that are, of course, on my board, but I've already chosen my top 3. It's Wisconsin, the #1 school in my entire life, Iowa State, who had faith in me earlier in the season and knew that I would be special, and then Western Michigan, who was one of the very first teams to offer me a scholarship, and they would be a team that I would be starting pretty much immediately at. Iowa State, I would probably be sitting for about a year, and then Wisconsin, a little bit more iffy on that situation. So it is now finally time for my hat selection to see where I'm going to college. All great schools, and I would love to play for all of them at some point, but unfortunately, I mean, that's just not how college really works. I guess transfer portal and stuff, but I don't really want to be doing all that. And of course, I'm going with no. Iowa State. No. Big Wisconsin fan my entire life, and nope, I will not be going to Wisconsin. Too big of a program. I'm not good enough to be starting for probably a few years or something, so, I mean, I would love to develop, I'd love to win something there, but I just do not think it's the right spot. So instead, I will be going with Western. Nope. Throwing that one away, just too small of a school. I want to win big time. And you know who's right in the middle of all of that? Iowa State. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week for whatever happens at Iowa State. See ya.